Hey guys, it's M. And it's time for another Today in HNK Legends. And since last time, quite a few things have changed. First, let's talk about one of the bigger system changes before we get to the units. As I'm sure we're all aware of at this point, the ST scroll system got reworked. So now instead of buying chests and hoping to get the scroll, it's another gacha roll system. I know some people looked at it funny when it dropped, but considering the last system was pretty much a gacha roll too when you really thought about it, not much changed other than the fact that at a certain point you're guaranteed to get a scroll now. The only problem I really see with this is that Wales will now have a guaranteed way to immediately shit on free-to-play players every time a new character drops, but they would have kept buying chests until they got it anyway, so I don't think that part matters too much. On to the newer characters, we got an Amiibo Isekai crossover. Boy, I sure do love when we have actually well-written guidance left in crossovers we get are this shit. Whatever was April Fool's, lighten up! Do you understand? I've been waiting for a Jaggy Gaiden crossover since I read it, and now I gotta see Amiibo over here with his ass hanging out as a unit. Anyways, Amiibo here is a character that came out. He's an SR, so as expected, he's kinda bad. No one's really going to be running him, so there's not much to say, but he does have one effect I don't think anyone else has. Evade. Gives him a 50% chance to avoid all damage if a variant of Toki is on the enemy team. If you're on the newer servers and just got this game, that might help you climb up the ranks a little bit due to Toki being the latest support unit, so most people would probably have him. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because I'm more interested to see if this effect gets moved on to any other newer units that come out. Evade is such a vague term, I could see it being moved on to other units in the future, and if they alter it to instead being just against Toki in general, it would be a real menace effect. Hell, even if it worked exactly the same for some future Amiibo UR unit they have planned, like every support unit, Toki's probably going to stick around for a while, so it would still be a good effect regardless. But as a great segue, let's talk about Toki. He's a support. Hate to say it, but supports are kind of boring to talk about because all they do is make other units better. Like every other support released, he's better than the last one. He's Iria with a few more gimmicks. That's pretty much all I have to say about him. And every other support unit, if you haven't pulled him, you might struggle a bit in Dojo, but And then we get to the unit I was the most confused about seeing come out, Ririn. I'd see the data mines before she officially came out and assumed she'd be a support unit, but no, she's a full-on attack-based UR. Other than the fact that they put a kid against a bunch of grown men that have killer martial arts, is there anything unique about her? It's like I said last time. We're in an AoE meta, so she's an AoE unit. There doesn't seem to be much else special about her. She isn't meta shifting or anything, and given that Team Squasher Rao is still on teams, until we get a unit that can negate what he does or is somewhat near him strength-wise, they're all pretty much doomed to be a bit underwhelming. Uh-oh! Won't believe who dropped today and ruined that entire ending point I was gonna make. A new Falco. Now, guess what this new Falco does? He inflicts a new form of silence if you hit him with an ST. If you weren't around during the silence meta, silence is an effect that completely stops STs. Meaning this new Falco would kinda sorta, a teeny weeny itty bitty bit, happen to completely negate Rao. Yeah, luckily enough, this isn't going to be like the LP Ken meta where he stuck around for entirely too long. Falco hard counters him to the point where while it doesn't make him completely useless, he does bump him down quite a bit. But keep in mind, he doesn't just counter Rao. I want you to understand what one of my main takeaways was in the last Today in HNK Legends video. Almost everyone that's come out recently is a looper. If Falco has the ability to hard counter looping in general, I'm sure you can understand where I'm trying to go with this. Falco invalidates a ton of viable characters right now, to the point where if you get him, you might as well bump most of the cast down a tier or two. To be honest, I'm shocked and kind of happy that out of any unit they could have chosen to finally shake this meta up, it just happened to land on my guy Falco. Since I just don't want to fanboy over this character, let me just make something clear here. Ignoring this effect, he's okay at best. His damage isn't crazy, but he is a bit tanky. He won't be able to straight carry you by himself like, say, Cosme 1, LP Ken, or this new Rao did. But if you have a decent team, you're probably going to ragdoll most of the current competition. But still, at the end of the day, Gento gamers, we're finally winning. Let's hope Asura happens to carry on the legacy of Gento units actually being viable. But what do you guys think? Are you happy the meta's finally getting shaken up? Are you sad to see most of your old units go? As always, I'm glad to discuss with you guys in the comments, and I've been out, and I am out.